So I had some white colleagues ask me what I thought about Trump actually segregating whites and blacks. And I actually told them straight up, like, honestly, I would love that. Now, they looked at me like I was crazy, and they almost spit up their almond milk. And I think they thought that maybe I was saying that out of hatred, but it really isn't about hatred. Here's the thing. I'm not talking about their version of segregation. See, I'm talking about our version of righteous separation, spiritual sovereignty, and black sufficiency. See, the truth of it is that integration was never about freedom. It was finesse. It was a system's way of saying, let's stop them from succeeding independently so we can profit from their brilliance directly. It was about control. And so I want us to be very clear about this. You know, we were never separate but equal. So that's a lie. We were separate and excelling. We had our own schools. We had our own banks. We had our own businesses. And baby, we were thriving. Black Wall Street, they burned it. Rosewood, they bombed it. Wilmington, they overthrew it. Why? Because we were doing too well without them, and they couldn't handle that. And so that's the truth. They didn't really want segregation gone. They wanted control. This is why we know that integration was just repackage of chains. When we were separate, we actually were building and excelling. And when they saw that we could excel without them, then it was like, oh no, we got to take control and make sure that their labor is profiting us. So right around that time, they rolled out this whole standardized testing, ACT and SAT. Y'all remember that? They created this IQ ranking to measure their norms, not our brilliance. And then we were said we were behind when we really weren't. We were just building our own lane, not asking for theirs. See, I don't know about you all, but I'm kind of tired of the lies. It's very exhausting, you know, just the lies that continue to be promoted. And I want to talk about the melanin, because this whole thing that we're not smart enough, that we're not bright enough, is simply just a lie. And so, you know, all this testing that they're doing, and I have kids in school, and they're made to feel that they cannot achieve. And I have to remind them about their actual superpower, melanin. See, not just your skin tone, but in your brain, specifically neuromelanin, that rich dark pigment found in areas like the substantia nigra, which are critical for learning and memory and decision making and emotional regulation. See, if you don't know, then you won't know how to respond. But when you learn about the studies that have actually linked the neuromelanin to higher concentrations and how it's related to enhanced memory and processing and higher intelligence and faster reaction times, then you know why they have hidden this information for so long. Because when you have higher melanin, you have stronger brain resilience against degenerative diseases. So translation to that is melanin doesn't just make you glow, it makes you grow. So we know that it's not coincidental that people with more melanin have historically been creators, inventors, innovators across every discipline, while also being the most suppressed, because they know that the more melanin you have in your body and in your brain actually produces higher intelligence. So the Bible also says this too in 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verses 7. It says he placed treasures in earthen vessels. What treasures? It was in us all along, right? So we have more melanin, and we know that people with less melanin, because it's a recessive gene and it's a mutation, lack the same level of intelligence, of many different benefits that come along with that. What's so interesting about it is that we're supposed to be looking at this as if it's something negative. But why is it negative when every other cultural group does this? group economics. See, the truth of the matter is they have stolen from us so many different things, and yet we still survive. And so I don't want to offend, but I have to be blunt here. When we invented it, they patented it. When we built it, they banked on it. So everything we created, they made sure they benefited off of it. Just like Louis Latimer, he actually developed the light bulb, but Edison got all the glory for it. And this has been going on through history. We know that Granville T. Woods laid the foundation for trains. Corporations got the contracts. Dr. Patricia Bath revolutionized eye surgery. The system licensed the tech. Black music became white record labels, billion-dollar industries off of our talent. Every time we create, they capitalize. We are the genius, but they control the royalties. It's quite interesting, isn't it? So when we talk about the facts and segregation, I want to be very clear. It's not racist. We have to understand the dynamics of this. See, the black dollar actually is the fastest running dollar in America. So let's do the math here. And I think it's quite funny. Black people have spending power over 1.6 trillion. But guess what? That dollar stays in our community just for 6 hours. While the white community, their dollar stays in their community 17 days. And guess what? Asian communities, it stays in their community 20 days. Jewish communities over 3 weeks. Why? Because we're systemically disarmed from owning what we build. And this is no coinky dink. The scripture said this would happen. So now our dollar does the labor, but the system collects the check. And this is why I support segregation on our own terms. See, that 400 years of slavery is over. And when I say that I want us to be segregated, I don't mean oppressed. I mean organize. Let's build black banks again. Let's educate our babies on the truth, not whitewashed lies. And let's support black farmers, black techs, black healing, black brilliance. And no, it doesn't mean I hate white people. No, it means I finally love us enough to stop begging for scraps from a table we built but never welcomed to. See, the Bible told us about this, yet we hop, skip, and jump over the fact that Deuteronomy 28, 43, and 44 already said it. It says, the stranger shall rise above you high, and you shall come down low. They shall lend to you, but you shall not lend to them. And this is exactly what has been happening for 400 years plus years. We built houses, businesses, schools, and they took them and taxed them to death. But beloved, there's hope, because Deuteronomy 30:3 also says, and Yah will turn your captivity and have compassion upon you, and will return and gather you from all nations. So yes, I welcome segregation, because restoration is already in motion. And I want y'all to understand this. We are not asking for more. We're building. See, we were never given anything from you all. I'm not asking to sit at somebody's table anymore. See, I'm trying to go along with scripture and build my people, gather my people, not because they are more melanated, but because we need to know that we serve the Most High and that He's going to take care of us, because separation was never our curse. It was our covenant. And now it's our strategy. It says to come out from among them, be ye separated. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17. So this isn't about racism. It's about us reclaiming what is already ours.
Trump just brought back segregation. That's all that's on my FYP today. Be so for real right now. We are in 2025. Just stop with that freaking narrative. Just stop already. What's even worse is the amount of people that I'm seeing commenting that are like, yeah, good, I hope he brings it back. And most of those people do not look like me. Yeah, so I don't know why you would want that. Sounds pretty damn hateful to me. He did not bring back segregation. What he did is try to protect women and children in bathrooms. I don't see where that's a problem. I would prefer to not have to worry about being in a restroom. with a man walking in. Just a thought. I do have a daughter. I'd like to know that she's safe when she's in there. So, yeah. Trump did not bring back segregation. He did not bring back racial segregation for those in the back.
Question: why is it that when black people talk about being segregated or separated, people freak out like, oh my God, why y'all want to be separate? Or black people, well, why do we want to be separate? Think about it. The Koreans, they're separate. They got a Korean town. The Japanese, the Chinese, the Arabs, the Indians, and hell, even white people got their own towns. They're segregated, are they not? So why can't we be segregated? Why can't we be amongst ourselves and do what black Americans do? I'm just asking, where's the confusion? Why are y'all so scared? I guess that's really what I want to know. Why are y'all so scared? And why are y'all oblivious to that we are already segregated here in America?
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode with me. So today, when people talk about segregation, they talk about it like it was just rules. But for Black Americans, it was trauma, it was anger, it was survival. So today I'm reaching to the history of segregation and how Black Americans responded to it then and how they respond to it now. Before we go further, guys, please kindly subscribe to my channel, like and share, support a girl, please, 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 just subscribe before we go on. When segregation was happening, Black Americans were not confused. They knew exactly what it was. It wasn't about order, it wasn't about tradition, it was about being told, yes, you are less than. Imagine being born into a system where your school is falling apart, your vote doesn't count, you are told to move just so someone else can sit. That reaction wasn't silence, it was pain mixed with anger, but also restraint. I have compiled some videos ahead. Let's watch together, share our thoughts, and comment down below in the comment section.
You know what? After giving it some thought, maybe the segregation is a good thing. I see restaurants, okay? So please let me know where I should not be spending my money. Because I spend a good bit of my money on going out to eat. So restaurants, please let me know. Just put up them white onlys and them colors on. Please put them up. Because I want to know where I should not be spending my money so I can keep it in my pocket. You know what, guys? Maybe this is a good thing. We stay on our side, they stay on their side. But restaurants, please let me know so I can stop spending money with y'all. Okay? And put them signs up, okay? Put them signs up so we know where not to spend our money at.
Are we seriously mad about people wanting to have a whites-only community? Let's not forget the fact that we always label things black own this and black own that. So a white man, Eric Arwal, wanted to establish his own town for his own people, white people. He wanted to control who he had as neighbors. His goal is to preserve the purity of his culture and traditions. So what are we mad for? Let's not forget, a couple years ago, Ashley Scott and Renee Walters got together and created their own community, their own black community. They wanted to create generational wealth and keep their legacy and culture. So I'm confused. What's the problem when the white people want to do it? And I know what you're going to say. You're going to try to bring up history and that victimization mentality. We're not doing that. We are not doing that. That happened many years ago. We're talking about now. We're not going to continue to bring up the past. At one point, we did have Black Wall Street. And yes, it was destroyed. However, we had the ability to rebuild and we didn't. We were defeated. So we're not going to continue to play the victim. This is a voluntary self-segregation, not a forced one. Get over it.
They need to bring back segregation. Like, I wouldn't mind being able to go to the grocery store without them. I wouldn't mind being able to play my favorite game without them. I wouldn't mind having my own designated water fountain. Like, not everybody was trying to get into a party of people that don't want us around. We would rather be with our own folks.
We eliminated segregation in America officially. And then I asked the audience, is there a hood? Does anybody know where the hood is? All their hands up. I said, so you know that there's a place where black people are. Okay. But there's no sign on the freeway that says next right hood. We pretend that segregation doesn't exist in America, and it exists everywhere in America.
Segregation was not just living separately. I'm gonna say it again. Segregation was not just living separately. Segregation was government funded violence. I kind of see some people on TikTok a little, enthused about segregation being brought back, but I need people to understand that it was not just living separately, it was state sanctioned violence. And as a rebuttal, they keep on saying, oh, we had our own banks, we had our own towns. Where are those banks and towns now? Bombed! Segregation meant no black land ownership. Segregation meant that if you were injured and went to a white hospital, they would deny you at the door and let you die. I guarantee you, if it was just being able to sit down in white restaurants, our civil rights leaders, our ancestors wouldn't have fought as hard. And let us not forget, segregation was so bad that those oppressors in South Africa used it as a blueprint to make apartheid. They cooked up apartheid behind that.
We are headed towards another civil war or building up black community, or both. What I want us to keep in mind is that taking away DEI is taking away opportunity. Allowing facilities to segregate is pushing us in a corner because we already don't own wealth, not a lot of wealth in America. Remember what they did when black people did build their own communities and started to thrive. They burned it down. They can't continue to redline. They continued to discriminate with giving out loans so that black people could not own homes and build wealth. Continue to discriminate with job opportunities. This is where we're headed, and although I don't believe that we should react in the way that they want us to react, I think that we more so should be preparing ourselves for what's to come. Because indeed, these things are going to affect us, whether we want to ignore them or not. And to all the people who voted for him, is it still about the economy and not about people of color? It's not surprising to me that a lot of y'all are quiet or crying. The amount of self-control that we have to sit back and allow for the Trump administration to dismantle everything that our ancestors worked for, that the people before us have worked for. I don't know about y'all, but it is draining and it is concerning. And these people are still screaming that it's just politics. Go to HE double hockey sticks, please.
At some point, patience runs out. That's when we see moments like Rosa Parks refusing to give up her seat. People say she was just tired. No, she was just tired of disrespect. And when Martin Luther spoke, he wasn't begging, he was calling America out. Black Americans reacted by marching, boycotting, sitting in, and risking everything because living quietly wasn't enough anymore. When segregation laws finally ended, the reaction wasn't celebration only. Yes, there was hope, but there was also skepticism because Black Americans had learned something important. Laws can change, mindsets take longer. So even after segregation ended, many Black Americans stayed cautious, watching how schools were funded, how police behaved, how jobs were handed out. The reaction became, we hear the promise, but we are watching the results. The fact that the blacks are not scared of segregation just hits differently. Personally, I can't just imagine how it can be when we have all black schools and all this division going on. It just sounds crazy. But so when I look at segregation, I don't just see history. I see why there's still distrust, why there's still anger, and why there's still activism. So this isn't about the past. It's about understanding the present. If you agree or disagree, drop your thoughts in the comment section. Keep it respectful. And once again, guys, kindly subscribe to my channel. Let's keep in touch. Till the next one. Bye.